We're looking at a relief of a woman, downcast eyes. On her head is a ribbon holding her hair back. There is a crown as well, and above her capped head is a halo. So that's all we have to go on for the identification of who she is. The one idea that's currently holding most convincing as an argument is that she's Saint Helena, who was the mother of Constantine the Great, the emperor who first, Roman emperor who first accepted Christianity. And so she, as the mother of that individual, who is said to have found the true cross as well, may be depicted here. But again, we're not certain. The museum acquired this work of art in 1938. It hung in Edinburgh in a private home for a number of decades. And it was acquired in Italy in the early 19th century, the third decade of that time. And in the 19th century, this was considered one of the most famous works of art by Donatello, a 15th century Italian sculptor. By the time the Toledo Museum of Art bought it, it was considered to be a renowned work by one of Donatello's contemporaries, an individual named Desiderio da Settignano. And so when the museum bought this in 1938 and put it on view, it was really quite a famous acquisition. There had been, even before we bought it, some questions about that attribution. And those questions continued to percolate even after our purchase. It was on view here for some decades, and then in the late 50s, a verbal opinion was rendered that it may not be Desiderio da Settignano. In 1962, a book was published on him where it's listed as indeed not Desiderio. And in the early 70s, there was a publication where this was referred to as a 19th century fake. We need to have credibility with our audiences, and so our labels have to be trustworthy. If they're not, an audience won't believe anything within the museum. Some may say, can't scientific analysis simply tell us the age of the stone or the age of the handiwork? And the answer is no and no, alas. It is not an organic substance, so carbon-14 dating won't tell us the age of it. There are scientific techniques to be employed to date the quarrying of marble, but we are at a loss when we're dealing with this stone, and even if we could know the date of the mining of the stone, that doesn't tell us the date of the carving. So it's good old-fashioned connoisseurship, which means visual memory and experience and looking at the original. In 2007, curatorial colleagues in Florence, Paris, and New York City at the Metropolitan Museum of Art organized a retrospective, an exhibit on one artist, Desiderio da Settignano. This work of art was not asked to be included in that exhibition, but it was asked to be brought to Washington for a study day, a symposium. And in the two rooms of that exhibition, the Toledo object was present, was literally on a cart, and I was there, and it was wheeled around and compared with other works of art, bedrock, documented, indisputable works by Desiderio da Settignano. And there are about 25 or 30 Italian sculpture specialists there. I'm not an Italian specialist, but I was certainly there with open mind and open ears. And at that time, the consensus was that Toledo owns a 15th century Florentine sculpture, perhaps by Desiderio da Settignano. One specialist even said, Toledo, the question isn't, is it 19th century? The question is it Desiderio or not? And so with that specialist consensus opinion, I determined it was time to put this work of art back on view in the museum's Renaissance galleries. And now people will see it. Of course, we were showing it to specialists and in fact anyone who came and made an appointment to see it, and a few people, only a few though, over the years did so. But now it will be on public view, and we look forward to hearing what people want to have us understand their opinions are. Many who are casting doubts on it were doing so from photographs. Nothing replaces seeing the original work. We believe in the label, which reads 15th century Florentine, but attributions are fluid, and we hope putting this on view will contribute to scholarship and general visitor understanding of what it is they're seeing. When I stand back from this object, I find it a very compelling, moving work of art.